Hey everybody, it's Tyler with Tyler Talks Travel Trailers, and we are back with another 2025 Surveyor 261 RKLE. Woo boy, this is a very nice floor plan. Flagstaff actually makes a very almost identical floor plan. It's going to be the Flagstaff 25 SRK, and you know I love Flagstaff, but in this case, I think Surveyor may have done it just a little bit better. The kitchen, you get a lot more prep space than the one Flagstaff makes. You also get bar stools and a bar table, which you do not get in the Flagstaff. And overall, I just think they did this perfectly. You have a huge pantry in this too, whereas in the Flagstaff you won't. So there's a ton of things that I'm thinking Surveyor did right in this thing, because Flagstaff, that used to be one of my favorite floor plans. But Surveyor came in and just did things a little bit better. So we're gonna get into this. Like always, we're gonna do the specs first. It takes me 1 minute to do those specs, and then we'll dive inside. Let's go, guys. So the basic specs on this 2025 Surveyor 261 RKLE. Your unloaded vehicle weight is 6,078 pounds. Your cargo carrying capacity is 1,500 pounds, which brings your potential fully loaded weight to 7,578 pounds. Your hitch weight is 640 pounds. Your exterior length is 30 feet total. Your exterior height is 11 feet 3 inches. Your exterior width is 8 feet. Your tanks, your fresh water tank is 40 gallons. Your gray water tank is 60 gallons. And your black tank is 30 gallons. Let's jump inside. All right, guys, now that we got the specs done, let's dive inside. It is crazy windy, as you can see, all that sand. So hopefully I'm coming through good with my audio. I will be very impressed if my microphones can handle this wind, because it is crazy windy out here today. But I really wanted to show you one of Surveyor's newest floor plans that I love so much. Like I said in the intro, Flagstaff actually makes a very similar floor plan, and it's actually like 25 feet. So if this one is a little too big, but you still like this floor plan, wait till the end of the video. I will put it at the end. It's the Flagstaff Microlight 25 SRK. Excuse me. It is lighter and smaller. It's 25 feet 11 inches, whereas this one will be right around 30. But I'm still very impressed with how lightweight this trailer is. So we're going to dive through this. I'm trying to do something a little different where I measured things out for you. So if you like that, leave a comment below. Let me know that you like it. But as you could see, you got your one slide out right here in the back. And it's a pretty good slide. So where your fridge, your pantry, and your theater seating all on that slide out, which gives you a ton of space in this living area. But as you walk in to the left, it's just like that Microlight where you have your kitchen area. But what I love about it is this one gives you so much more counter space. I think there's a fridge on the side, so it takes up some counter space in that 25 SRK, whereas this one, you have all of this as counter space, and I measured it out. So this is kind of what I'm trying to do for you guys, so that way you guys get a better idea other than just my arm. So this is 23 inches in wide, so it's a pretty deep counter space. I had a customer come in this week that bought from me. They said, I still like when you throw your arm down, but I figured I'll do both if you guys end up liking that. So it is 23 inches deep, pretty deep counter space right there. So if you're someone that likes to cook, all of this can be utilized as counter space. And then also, this is your cutting board. How nice does that look? That goes right over top of this. So when I say it is all counter space, it really is, because you can utilize the top of the stove top as well. Before I put that on there, you can see you got a nice big farm style sink. I just love how Surveyor has the gold accented, faucets. They even have the gold accented handles. They just do things and they look really great. So you bring this down, rinse some stuff off. Good size sink where you can actually do some dishes in it. It's not super small. Sometimes they make these so small you can't even do your dishes in it. So good size sink. Step back real quick. As you can see, a lot of cabinet space. You got some drawers in this finally. I can't tell you how many times, we walk into trailers and they do not give you drawers. It's so different. So up top, you got some cabinet space for your, pots and pans, maybe your cups and bowls and plates, things like that. Pretty deep. This one is going to be 12 by 52 all the way across. So pretty decent size, 12 by 52 for all of your cabinet space above. I'm gonna have to remember to get all of those sticky notes, because the guys are gonna come into it and be like, what the heck are these sticky notes for? And it's measurements. I didn't do all of them, but I did majority of the stuff you guys might want to know measurements of. But I love the cabinetry as well. Just look at the nice glass inlay. You got hidden hinges, just a very high quality finish. And then in the back, you also have a window. So if you're doing dishes, right here, you can open that bad boy up and let some fresh air in. You can see the view outside. Down below this farm style sink, you got some storage down below, easy access to plumbing. I did not measure this one, but it goes back pretty far, a little farther than the ones up above. So you got some storage down there. And as I stated, you got some drawers finally. Oh, those aren't the biggest. They always psych you out, but hey, you got a drawer to put some utensils in. Just remember, this is a couples coach, so you're not having to bring a ton of stuff along, I would assume. Down below, you got your road vac with so it's a vacuum system. They'll give you the hose and then like your dustpan. So when you sweep up and it's hard to get that last little bit of dirt, throw this bad boy on there and you'll be able to clean up this trailer nicely after you're done using it. To the right, you got your oven and stovetop. So like I said, this serves as prep space. You got your knife holder. You even got a little grease cup. Sometimes it's the little things. So fold this back. You got your 3 top burner, and then that serves as your backsplash. You got your fancy lights. Bam! And then your oven down below. Good size oven. This will come down all the way to right here. So shoot, you could probably fit like a full-size turkey in that thing. Decent size oven. Down below, you have some added storage right there. Pretty decent. Man, I look burnt on camera. I like to do yard work on my days off, and I've been outside a lot, so I look burnt to the crisp. So pretty decent storage right here as well. And then down below, I figured if I give you guys some measurements, it'll give you an idea of kind of the rest of the stuff. So that's kind of why I'm trying to do that a little more, because it's hard to visualize it on camera of what you're looking at. So I hope that's helping a little bit. Another one up here. And I think I said 12 feet wide or 12 inches wide on these cabinets. You also got your microwave. This is not the air fryer. It is just your standard microwave. You even have your spice rack up above. Overall, I love the kitchen space in this one a lot more, just because of all that counter space. Moving on to the right, you got your 10 cubic foot, 12 volt refrigerator. I love these. Some people still are not won over on these. I'm a fan of them. They cool a lot faster, but I can definitely see why people would still want the gas electric. But given that this does have solar that we'll get into, it just constantly keeps your batteries recharged. And it's already cold, and I just plugged this in to the golf cart, so it will run just straight off your batteries, and they cool so much faster versus the gas electric, which, there's no right or wrong one to get. You just get a much deeper fridge when it's the 12 volts. Probably one of my favorite parts of this, a pantry. If you can ever get a pantry in a trailer, that's always going to be a huge plus. If you're someone that's wanting to go on long extended trips. I had it turned off, but it does have a motion light in here. So floor to ceiling storage. That is fantastic. So if you stop off, get a lot of snacks and groceries, and you're about to hit the mountains, you're not going to be near a grocery store, this is what you want. And these are going to be 20 by 26. So each one of these will be 20 by 26. That is really great storage right there for all of your food and snacks. So really, you can utilize all that cabinet space right there for all of your, your kitchen needs, like your bowls, plates, pots and pans and things like that, and still have a nice designated area for your closet. Moving on to the right. Oh yeah, look at that. The theater seating. I had a customer come in. They said, when I watch your videos, it reminds me of a graham cracker. And now I see what she's saying. This does look like a graham cracker. We'll put this down so you can get a better visual of it without that exposure being messed up. So you got the theater seating. That dang, you got 4 cup holders for all those cold snacks, and this middle part will fold up. This couch is 6 feet long, so it's a good size. 6 feet long. I mean, I'm not a picky guy. If I needed to sleep somewhere, I'll lay on that thing. I'll be just fine. But it's also positioned perfectly, well, bam, in front of your TV. So this is why I just love this floor plan so much. Everything is just in a nice spot. For some reason, they cannot put TVs straight on, and that is actually really good. If you guys watch my videos, I don't think we've ever, it's very hard to find a perfect straight on TV, but I'm sitting on the couch right now, and look at, you got a nice view. Let's see if these bad boys lean back. Let's see. Oh yeah, see, so these lean back too. I could sleep on this. This is, you know, beggars can't be choosers. So these do recline and lean back a little. Love those couches. They don't have anything like fancy on the cup holders, like vibrating or the massage, the heating or anything like that. But let me tell you, the massage chairs, they literally just vibrate. It's not that crazy. Over here, I did not show you, so we'll walk around this section right here. This is why I love this floor plan a little bit more than the Flagstaff, because they do not give you this nice bar table right here and the bar stools. You know, you can move these around. You have a nice place to work. You know, if you have to do some work from the trailer, you got an area to put your laptop. And this bar area will be 12 by 48 or 1 foot by 4 feet. So it's a pretty decent size to where you can actually put a laptop on there. And then they give you a nice latch, you know, to keep these chairs in place. Let's see, is there any plugs around here? Once we finish this, we'll look at all the plugs, because I know the plugs are important to you guys, you know, so you can see what kind of appliances you could bring along. Moving on to the 4-seater dinette. This is a nice option because it does convert to a bed. So if you want to bring the grandkid along once in a while, or you have the occasional guest, pop those poles out, throw that table down, and then you got yourself a nice bed. Just so you know, it is 41 by 72, and I measured from this right here to the other side. So that does not include like the cushion. So 41 by 72. So you could take one of those cushions out and then have a little bit more headroom. But it seems like you could definitely sleep an adult, and it's a pretty comfortable table. The table is going to be 41 by 27. So I mean, you can get a board game going, you know, if you want to ruin some relationships and get Monopoly going. Yeah, that's the worst game you could play with me. I get hyper competitive with Monopoly, but you can definitely get around and play a board game. It's not super tiny. Up here, like I said, you got your TV right there. It will come out a little more, so if you want to tilt it towards the kitchen, you can. And some added storage on both sides. These are pretty small. These are going to be 9 by 20. But, you know, pretty good to put some DVDs in there, all your entertainment needs. So that's not bad. I love this whole living area. I think it is just perfect to get around and hang out with some friends. And I did not show you that storage up above. I didn't measure that one, but over time, I'll start to know what the length of my arm is, because I'm still going to do this. So I'd say you got plenty of storage for all of your like entertainment stuff, as well as for your pots and pans and your snacks. So the storage is getting a huge thumbs up right now. I think it's fantastic. Talking about plugs, you got 2 USB and USB-C plugs right here. So if you need to charge your phone while you're at the bar table, you have those plugs. And then you also have a plug down here, your standard plug, but obviously you need to be plugged in to use those. But those you can use off of the battery, which is really handy. The only downside I see with no plug being right here, yeah, that's probably the only downside, is there's no plug at the bar table area, which is kind of funky. Oh, there's one. I knew it. I was like, why would they do that? So you do have a plug up here. So if you need to get some work done, nice and accessible while you're sitting at the bar table. And so you have plugs on both sides, you know, if you're hanging out. And then let's talk about plugs in the kitchen, because you want to know what kind of stuff you could bring along. You got to bring the coffee along. So you got one plug right up here. I like how they're hidden up top. It looks good. So you got a nice place to put your coffee pot, Keurig, things like that. And then you have another one on the other side. So decent plugs throughout this so far, I would say. And then you also have, sorry, I need to stop moving so fast. Kind of turn a little too quick on you guys. So you do have one plug right there as well. So overall, I'd give a thumbs up for all the plugs you get in this. You know, you can actually get out, hang out back here, and everyone can charge their phone or whatever they need to. Moving on to the bathroom. As you can see, moving on, it's got a pocket door, which I'm a huge fan of, so no space is wasted. Well, bam, look at that. Looks like a bathroom. So, pretty good sized bathroom, plenty of floor space. I like this style of bathroom because it's connected to the bedroom. So if you need a shower and there's people hanging out here, you're not walking through the trailer. You can, you know, change in the room and still have your privacy if there's people hanging out. So we're going to sit on the toilet. I always encourage you guys to do that too, just to see what kind of leg room you got on the commode. You don't want to get a toilet and not be comfortable, but I'd say this one's going to be just fine. Please disregard the antifreeze. The bag broke, so a little bit of antifreeze in the pan. So pretty decent knee room. Turn you around so you can see my crisped face from all the yard work I've been doing. But I'd say this is a winner. Everyone's going to be perfectly fine in this. If you're bigger and buff like me. No, not that big. I'm kind of scrawny, but overall, I'd say this is pretty good. So most people will be comfortable in that. I did not show you your control panel. It's kind of split into two. This is some very nice features that you're getting on this. For one, you're getting a tankless water heater. So if you want to take a long shower, as long as you have, you know, the water for it, it's on demand as well. So it's not like your 6-gallon water heater. The one thing I love about this water heater that a customer told me is you can have separate temperatures, you know, like my girlfriend, like I always say, likes lava for water and I don't. So you can have your own settings and then it'll just click on to the temperature you want, which I really love. That's what a customer told me. I have never used one in person. Over here to the left, you do have tank heaters on this, which is a huge plus. If you're someone that likes to camp in cold weather, you actually have heat pads on every single tank. So not only is it good if you're camping in cold weather, but if you're driving through like a really cold state, maybe you're driving through Colorado and it's freezing temps, what's going to happen if your tanks are filled with water? Ooh, that would not be good. So you flip these on, they're 12 volts, so it'll prevent your tanks from freezing. You know, if you get to your destination and your tanks are all frozen and cracked, that'd be no bueno. This is a huge feature. They have heated underbelly, they have radiant heat, which I'm not a fan of, and then they have tank heaters. This is a huge plus. I would prefer this because you don't have to waste propane. So if you go out fishing, you know, hiking or anything, you know, you don't want to keep your heater running all day. You can flip these on, save your propane. Then when you get in, have that underbelly heated when you kick on the heater. Right here, you got your readings. So your black, gray. If you notice, it has 2 gray tanks too. So I love when companies do that because they're basically distributing that weight evenly. So that way it's not just one big tank. You got your water heater, water pump, and a plug if you like to bring that hair dryer, straightener, things like that along. Got a little bit of counter space, nothing crazy, but a big enough sink to brush your teeth, do what you need to do. There's that antifreeze. It is non-toxic. It's a different kind of antifreeze. You can drink it. I'm not saying you should, but it's not bad for humans. You do have your mirror right here. Oh, and it's so nice. It's not hot out. It's windy, but it's not hot. It's getting a little hot, but not crazy. You got your medicine cabinet, as well as your toothbrush holder right here. A little bit of storage down below. Easy access to your plumbing. I try to show that because some people ask to see that. Now stepping into the shower, I did some measurements there. But before we get up, let's test it. Oh boy, we got a porcelain throne. Good quality toilet. As well as your toilet paper holder is actually in a decent spot. This shower, you have a lot of headroom in this. I measured it for you, and I measured it. Let's stand in it so you can see how tall I am. So I am 5'7". Look how much room I got. Well, bam. I'm not that tall. But this is not bad. So literally from the shower pan to the skylight, like touching the skylight, it is 6 feet 8 inches. So if you're 6'9", your head is going to be through the skylight. But if you're 6'9", you probably will never find a good shower unless you're in a fifth wheel. But 6 feet 8 inches from floor to the skylight, and your shower pan is 28 by 36. So a good size shower to actually move around, dry, rinse off, do what you need to do in there. And then your shower enclosure is kind of like that, it is super enclosed. Like there's no way for water to get out with that type of shower enclosure. Then you have your towel hanger right there, as well as the big fart fan, baby. Look at that. It's not the little blade. We got a big one that does 4 speeds. It looks like it does not have the rain cover, but very easy to add that. If we get outside and the wind isn't too bad, we'll talk construction and stuff. If this video does, if I do go outside and the audio is super bad, I might just cut it and redo this. But just know that I'll redo the outside. Most of the outsides are very similar, but I wanted to show you guys this one because this is a really great floor plan. Just know it's because of the wind. Right here, we got the main bedroom. Let's check it out. Oh yeah. North, south, queen size bed, and it is a true queen, 60 by 80. It is not an RV mattress, which is usually 60 by 74. If you're not familiar with RVs, they make RV queens and RV kings. So the benefit of that is that you can actually switch this out with a residential mattress, because like I say, these aren't the most comfortable mattresses. So being able to add a residential topper or a different mattress is going to make it a lot more comfortable for you. And the reason you can do that is because it's a 60 by 80. But it's not a super big deal because you can always, your mattress will hang off 6 inches. It's not super crazy. It makes it a lot easier to make the bed also versus, an east-west where you kind of got to reach over. That's not a deal breaker for me, but I just like to point that out to you guys so when you're out looking, you know what to look for. You can see you got a lot of storage up and around the bed right here. And you got some hanging wardrobes. These are all going to be the same, so I'll just open one side. So you got your hanging wardrobe right here. This is going to be 22 by 15 and 33 inches tall. So not bad. Pretty good size wardrobe for you and your significant other. I know I'd probably have just that up there, and then my girlfriend would have both. But decent storage. You have some drawers down here. Not super deep, but, they gave you some drawers, which I love. Coming up above, you do have some more storage. This is a lot of storage, so it'll go all the way across. Remember, the box is usually 8 feet wide, so it's probably a little less than that because we're on the interior. But that storage goes back, what does that say? 29 inches deep. So pretty deep cabinets. It goes real far. I can't even show you my arm, but it goes all the way across and 29 inches wide that way. So pretty good storage up above all the way around. And then you even have some added cubby space back here. And what I love about it is they give you some plugs. As you can see, there's a hole right here. So there's some plugs down below. So if you have a CPAP machine, I know how important that is to people to get a good night's sleep. You actually have plugs on both sides. That's going to be so beneficial to you if you're someone that uses the CPAP machine. Or if you're like me, you're dehydrated in the middle of the night, you need a place to put your water. You got a cup holder right there for that water. So you'll get that on both sides. Oh, I'm rolling over. Sorry guys, try not to move too fast. One thing I love about this particular floor plan too is you got 2 air conditioners, 15,000 I believe this one is a 15,000 BTU, and the other one is a 13.5 BTU AC. It's all ducted too. So if you want to push both ACs into this bedroom, you have ducts right there that will push it into here. And the cool thing about these particular ones is you can actually close them. Look around when you're looking at trailers, look for that, because if it has two ACs, don't you think it would be a great idea to be able to push, you know, both ACs to one area if you're sitting or if you're in a super hot state? I know I would like that, because if you can't close them, you don't really have the ability to push the air where you want. It does have the front windshield, which lets in a lot of extra natural light and makes it feel more open in here, and you get a nice view. They do make aftermarket covers for them, so do not be worried that you can protect them. I get a lot of people that are concerned about that, but there's a couple companies I know offhand that do those covers. And then I did show you that there's those plugs behind. I don't know how big CPAP machines are, but if it's still too tight to put it in there, you have kind of this end table right here, and you have plugs on both sides as well as USB-C. So you have, let's see, 4 standard plugs just in this room and 4 USB and USB-C plugs. So that, I don't know how many phones you got, but you got plenty of plugs to charge everything. Down below, you have even more storage and drawers. So nice little area. Maybe if you're bringing some winter clothes along and then you go to like maybe a warmer place, it's nice to be able to store that stuff when you're not using it. So this might be a good place to do that. You know, your jackets, your winter clothes. And this area, not including the drawers, is 19 by 44. So a good sized storage area right there. And like I said, you do have these drawers down below as well for your like socks and stuff like that. There's some added stuff in there, your power cord, things like that. Woo, it's getting windy outside. Dang. It looks like an apocalypse out there. Look at that. It's kind of hard to tell. We're going to go out there, so you're going to see me struggling with the wind for sure. Oh, nice. There's a window in here too. So what do you guys think? You like the measurements? It does add a little more work, but you know, it's hard to visualize with these phones and everything, the actual size of stuff. So leave some comments below. Let me know what you think. Your other control panel for the rest of the trailer will be up here as you walk in. So this does have a Furrion radio, so indoor and outdoor speakers. You got your awning lights and things like that. Since we're in here, we'll talk about it because the wind is crazy. So this will have 400 watts of solar and a 30 amp solar controller. So 400 watts of solar, and that is for a limited time. They're probably not going to do that forever, but the first batch we always get that extra 200 watts of solar. So what do you guys think of the floor plan? Travel mode is fantastic in this trailer, because if you're not familiar with travel mode, what that is, it's when you put your slide in and you want to see what you can and can't access. You know, if you're going down the road, you want to make sure you can get to the bathroom easy in case of emergency, or if you stop off and get groceries, you know, you want to get to the fridge nice and easy without having to put that slide out every single time. So when this slide is in, you can see, how are you going to get to the bathroom? Well, Surveyor was kind enough to think about you guys. I know I get people that are like, I don't want 2 doors, but when that slides in, that second door is going to come in handy. You know, if you stop off and it's an emergency, you need to use the bathroom, boom, second door comes in handy. You can get into the bathroom. Or let's say it's been a long day of driving and you just can't go no more. You stop off at Cracker Barrel or Walmart and you're just going to park and sleep. You can come right in and just hit the bed and not have to put any slides out or anything like that. So that second door is huge. You know, definitely consider that. If you don't like 2 doors, that is a compromise you're going to make if you don't have it. And then on this side, you know, it's nice because you can actually get to the fridge. Once this slide is in, it's pretty tough. Actually, you know what? Let's just do it. I hate skipping steps. So we'll see what this slide out does when it's in. This is on a rack and pinion slide, also known as a through frame slide. So they do say it's okay to put it out partially. So if you had to, even though you don't really need to because that second door, you can put them out partially. Some they do not recommend you put in partially. So putting this bad boy in, and as you can see, you cannot get to that bathroom. So that second door is going to be huge for you if you're someone that wants to get to everything. So like I said, perfect travel mode trailer. You can get to the fridge. You want to make sandwiches, you can get to that counter space right there. You know, if you stop off for a lot of groceries and snacks, bam, look at that. Easy access to your massive pantry right there. That is a win. Over here to the right, that's where I said you obviously won't be able to get to. You might be able to get to the dinette, but this is very important. If you ever get a sales guy that tells you you can sit on the slides and stuff, he does not know what he's talking about. You cannot sit on slides if it's a travel trailer. Motorhomes are engineered to sit on them while you're going down the road and stuff. So just keep that in mind. You do not want to like step on the slide on the corners. I've seen walls like separate because they put so much weight on it. They must have done it when the slide was in, and then that's when you have some issues with your slide separating and stuff. Slide outs are really not super high maintenance. You know, a lot of times when people have issues with their slides, it is user error, like literally majority of the time, because they don't know, you know, you're not supposed to sit on it or stand on it and things like that. And then that starts to create issues, because when you start having, you know, things separate, like the floor to the slide, that's when you have water issues and getting in, and then that's no good. If you notice too, it is a seamless slide. Check that out. So there's no step up on this slide out. Pretty much that's all the stuff. Your heater vents are all on the walls, so you don't have to worry about rocks and stuff falling in and making a bunch of noise at night. So your heater vents are all on the side walls. If that's a concern to you, do not worry. They also make little vent covers so rocks and stuff don't get in there. Let's go outside. Like I said, if the video cuts off, it's because the audio is just too crazy bad. I'm gonna be super impressed if I don't blow away and if my microphone does good in this. Woo boy, holy smokes. Looks like an apocalypse out here. Look at that. Oh boy, I'm gonna blow away. Oh God. It doesn't even sound bad, I'm sure, with my microphone. It is crazy out here though. I look dramatic. It is bad, it's just my microphone's good. So you got your electric tongue jack, dual propane tanks. They are the 20-pound tanks. You got a battery disconnect right there. So when you want to store it, you could shut your batteries off. Coming into the storage area, bam, you got the nice luggage latch and the magnets. Super great storage right here. One thing I want to point out, this is a 6-side aluminum frame trailer, meaning the roof, the floor, the front wall, the back wall, and both side walls are all aluminum. So very high quality build. You know, there's a more traditional build trailer, which is known as stick and tin. I'm not saying one's better than the other, but when you go talk to the salesperson, ask them if it's 6-side aluminum frame, because if not, they do make trailers where it's mixed with wood. So like the side walls will be wood and maybe just like the floor will be aluminum. So just ask. You want to know what you're paying for, in my opinion. This does have an outside griddle. So as you can see, it's got a little cooktop. So if you want to cook some food outside, you can do that. It's got the nice glass doors. I have never seen one break yet though. I've had people ask. This is where your griddle will go. And it has a nice little sprayer right here, hot and cold water. So if you want to clean your grill off, you got your plugs for the TV and coax cable. Down here, you do have Goodyear endurance tires. So a nice quality tire right off the lot. It does have a tire monitoring system too. So there's a sensor around the rim and it'll alert you if your tires are getting low, hot. You know, that's a nice tool to have. The last thing you want is a blowout on a travel trailer. I've seen it total trailers. It'll blow a hole in the floor and that is no good. So you'll get a little screen in your car and you could kind of monitor your tires while you're going down the road. Solid steps. Like I said, these just fold right into the doorway. Oh yeah, 40 watts, 400 watts of solar, limited time. We'll talk about construction of the wall here in a second. This does have a receiver, so that will hold 300 pounds. If you have electric bikes or want to bring a generator along, you can get a nice cargo rack. It does not come with the ladder, but it's prepped for the one that hooks on. I know it's kind of dumb, but the new ladders are crazy. If you actually get one, they're super lightweight and they also telescope so you could store it. As I said, you got a rack and pinion, also known as a through frame slide. Very easy system to, maintain. You just get some lubricant, spray it, make sure all your seals are conditioned and stuff. I've made a video on that before. Over here, we'll talk about the wall construction where it's not as windy. So you got your black tank flush to clean out all your tanks. So you hook the hose up to that, and then there's jets in the tank that will flush it out for you. You got your potable water. And so when you're dry camping, you'll fill this up until it starts to bubble, and then you're full and ready to go on an adventure. You got your city water for campgrounds and KOAs. So talking about wall construction. So the way they make these walls is basically it'll go fiberglass, then it'll go either Luan or Azdel, which is a composite material. Azdel is just the brand. Then it'll go the rigid block foam, and then it'll go the aluminum, and then your inner walls. That Azdel, the brand Azdel, the composite I was telling you about, is actually impervious to water. I like saying that word. I learned it when I looked up what Azdel was. So it's basically waterproof. So you got to imagine these are going to be in the elements, rain, snow, whatever, unless you have an enclosure. Once water gets in these walls, you have what's called delamination issues. Your walls will start to bubble, and they'll start to literally separate. The glue, the walls, all of that, the Luan, whatever they're using, it'll all start to separate. And you've probably seen it, when walls start to get bubbly and nasty on older trailers. Well, having that composite inner wall is going to be a huge kind of way to prevent that from happening because of it being impervious to water. They literally put it in water for months and months and months, and it did not degrade or change the integrity of the material. So in this instance, Surveyor will have that Azdel outer wall, which I think is a huge plus if you're someone that wants to, have the trailer hold up long term and you're going to hang on to it. So I hope you guys enjoyed that tour. We're going to kind of cut this short because this wind is crazy. If you're new to the channel, I try to do a new tour every single day. It's summertime right now, so it has been crazy. Once summer hits, I'm a full-time salesperson. I don't do just YouTube. A lot of these people that you see on here, they do just YouTube full-time. I do not. So I need to make a living. So in the summertime, I still try to do one every day. But no matter what, I have a lot of stuff coming. If you want to know where I'm located at Albuquerque RV in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Yes, where Breaking Bad was filmed. And that is not a show. It's actually a documentary. I'm just kidding. But our phone number will be down below in the description. So if you have any questions at all, you want to contact me, call in and ask for Tyler, please, because we are on a rotating list. So if you don't ask for me, you might end up with another salesperson, which isn't bad. We're all excited to help. It's just, I want to help you. So this wind is getting crazy out here, and I'll see you tomorrow. Have a good evening, night, morning, whenever you're watching this. Goodbye. Woo!